All right, hello, and welcome back to this episode of Best in the Biz, the pod talking business with CNA entrepreneurs. Today with me is Adam Rowe. So welcome, Adam. How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good, Ian. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. Really appreciate you taking the time.
Yeah, you bet.
Yeah, so to get started, SubC Imaging celebrating 15 years this year. Tell us a little bit about how it started and what it looked like at the beginning.
Yeah, you got it. So 15 years is a long time to be settled down in one place doing, kind of the same thing towards the same goal anyway. So myself and my business partner and co-owner, Chad Collett, we actually grew up together in Chance Cove, which is a pretty small community. So we started off, Chad actually worked as an ROV pilot offshore for a number of years. So he had
Very
a good
cool.
background. Yeah, a good background into that realm. And started working on our first product, the One Cam, which we sold in Australia back in 2010, actually.
Oh, wow.
So we kind of came out of the gate pretty strong right in the beginning with that camera. It was pretty disruptive to what was on the market at the time. So we really kind of developed the technology that really fit really nice in that transitional point between standard definition and high definition. So that was a really cool technology that helped kick us off in a really big way early on.
Very cool.
So yeah, it was just the two of us. We started in Chad's office, made our way to the basement, where we built a little room for ourselves.
Yep.
Graduated from there as we started to hire more people to, some buildings here in Clarenville to get in our own full-size building that we've got fully spec'd out to, and optimized for our workflow as we're moving product and stuff through the building, shipping area and all that sort of stuff. So things are looking a lot different these days than just me and Chad, sipping coffee down in his basement to, we've got just under 30 now. And
wow.
with the majority of us working, here in Clarenville, which is super cool.
Yeah, that is really nice. And before we got recording, we were talking about, how we like the small town feel. And it's great to see a business like this develop in a smaller community in Newfoundland and Labrador. So you talked about, international business. So SubC technology is really used all over the world in marine research, offshore energy, and even defense. So what's one project or breakthrough that really stands out to you? You talked about the camera earlier. Is there anything else that really jumps out?
So we've got a lot of really cool different things, but one that's probably been most exciting for me is one that we've kind of worked on kind of recently with our remote operations technology. So we got into streaming video from offshore to onshore a long time ago, but the technology at the time wasn't really designed for that real-time decision making.
Yep.
So we had an awesome development partner that we kind of started working with, who basically at around the same time that we started looking at more real-time communications technologies and developing on top of those as a framework to make a product, we found a client who were very much in that mode as well. They were really trying to push the boundaries of what was possible for doing remote offshore inspections. So that was super fun because we had a really big client who was super invested in what we were doing.
Yep.
Really driving the requirements of like what they needed to see that was very representative of our market. It wasn't just some custom thing. It was like they were trying to provide a general service.
Yep.
So our technology needed to adapt to that like general offering. It wasn't like we want it to be green and like we're the only ones that want it green.
Yeah.
So then we do all this development to make it green, but nobody else wants it. That kind of thing.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, so that was super fun because we were able to, like I said, work really closely with a client that had a really driving motivation to kind of see that come through, that we could then take and offer to other clients of ours and into the market as a whole. It was a lot of fun, and it was super, like, I'll say cutting edge, like really that real time communication, getting video for remote piloting, all that sort of stuff. It was just super fun to be a part of that whole movement.
Yeah, that is very cool. And like you said, it's a bit of a leap forward in technology too at the time, right? So
exactly,
very cool to be on the leading edge of that.
It absolutely is. Yep, for sure.
Definitely. So wrapping it back to CNA a bit, you have 12 CNA graduates at your business right now. So how has that gone? And tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, that's super cool. So myself and Chad, we're both CNA graduates. So Chad, when Chad did the course, it was, I think, electronics and information technology or something like that. Yeah. And it was funny because when he got, I was still trying to figure out my direction in life. Whether I was going to pursue something tech, maybe something music, I wasn't sure. Yep. Chad had just graduated from CNA, had got a job as an ROV pilot, like I mentioned earlier. And, he and I met up over Christmas one year and he was telling me about it. And I was just like, what did you do? Like, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, very cool.
And I the next day registered for the same course that he had done.
No way.
So when he had done it, it was more electronics focused, and they had changed kind of the outline of that course to be more software focused, which is perfect for me because that was more my strength. I'll say my passion was in the software side of things.
Yep.
So yeah, I immediately registered and started, the next semester that I could.
Wow.
So yeah, that was super cool. That was a lot of fun. We had a super good experience with CNA. And so two of our long-term employees, Marcus and Jamie, they actually graduated from the same course. I met them in CNA. So we graduated together. So they came along at SubC with us pretty early days. It's been really cool. I mean, I think CNA is great. I don't have much else experience, so I don't know. I can't comment on anything that anybody else is doing, but I just know that that practical hands-on, for me, the way I'm wired, that just was so beneficial to like helping me understand how to like learn, apply, along with the co-op part of the course. I know not every course has a co-op component, but that getting in the real world, kind of seeing bigger picture and how people are taking the things that you're learning and applying those in real world was super fantastic. It has, we don't, I'll say, intentionally hire from any particular place, region, anything. But it is kind of interesting that almost half of our workforce is our CNA graduates.
Yeah.
So that's which is kind of cool. I think that speaks to that practical, hands-on. Obviously, it resonates with Chad and myself. So when we see that in other people, obviously it must resonate well with us for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And talking about the CNA programs and stuff, a lot of them are the foundation for a lot of businesses around too, right? You talked about the technical part and then also the hands-on part. So they all go well with a lot of the businesses and the small businesses around rural, especially Newfoundland, Labrador, and then also the tech side like you guys are doing. So it's very well rounded for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
So again, talking about the international stage, Adam, you've done business with clients in 30 plus countries.
Yeah.
That is incredible. Absolutely incredible. Yeah. So, a bit of advice for someone to looking to break into the international stage. How do they kind of approach that?
So in our experience, like, I want to say, if you can get a good number of clients or like number of touch points that are fairly representative of like the market, not necessarily the region that you're kind of working towards.
Yep.
It's like working on value is value, and I always like to kind of try to super simplify things to be like, we make tools. We're a very like B2B organization.
Yep.
So like basically clients of ours are buying our equipment to generally make money.
Mm-hmm.
So, whether someone has a hammer in any particular market and they're looking to build a house, that hammer is probably going to be pretty similar no matter the region that you're working in.
Mm-hmm.
There may be slight variances. I don't know much about the hammer market, but maybe down in some like tropical region, they need better like sweat absorption on the handle. You know what I mean? But that value, that's like a modification then. When you understand very well the problems that your clients are trying to solve, and you can kind of hit that like 80% of that, then like that's going to give you a really good reach. And then maybe different regions have more specific requirements.
Yep.
But I feel like if you've done it right, if you've kind of at a broad level looked at that, depending on where you want to go, it shouldn't be like so disruptive. It shouldn't be like, well, we can't, sell our hammers in Ecuador because we didn't, we built the handle, the squishy part is like part of the handle. So we can't change that because that changes everything and that's going to cost way too much.
Yeah.
Understanding that these are the areas that could change based on different regions or different markets that we want to work into, and almost like designing that flexibility piece in there, I think is really good. Having a good like common set of pieces that's like maybe you take it 80% of the way there, but then there's this 20% of like flexibility where we can like get it in that warmer client, or we can get it in that deeper ocean or whatever.
Yep.
It's not a total redesign of the entire system.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
That would probably be my advice.
Yeah, it's a good way to put it too. I like that 80%. So, you're not completely redesigning a product everywhere you go, but you're still customizing it. So, it still goes above and beyond maybe, and tailors it to them even more. So I really like how you put that. That's a good strategy. Oh. Yeah.
Hey, thanks.
Yeah, of course. So we talked a lot about the international. How about the community? So how has the community really, got behind you and supported SubC imaging?
Yeah. So, community is, of course, at different levels.
Mm-hmm.
The community of Clarenville, the community of Newfoundland, the community of Canada, right?
Yeah.
So Clarenville has obviously been fantastic. And like, especially early on, we made relationships with people within, the government offices here to help with like some funding, help with some loans, stuff like that. There was a time in our first year where we were just trying to keep the bank account at zero. And our representative here, Craig, he kind of went to bat for us. He wrote us a check for $35,000 to get us through our first year. And, said, fellas, you got to get me this money back by next year kind of thing.
Yeah.
And we managed to get it back to him within, I think it was 6 or 9 months or something.
Right on.
So, they've always been super helpful. ACOA and all CBDC,
Mm-hmm.
all those organizations have been really, really helpful in making sure that we have what we need, and they're helping de-risk a lot of the things that we're doing. That's kind of what it comes down to is tech, right? It's like there's a lot of risk associated with that, and they've been super helpful in helping us de-risk a lot of that.
So last question here before we jump into a little rapid fire round. What advice would you give some students who are looking to, just open the doors or turn an idea into an actual business?
So I would say, make sure you love it. Like, make sure it doesn't even necessarily have to be like specifically, I didn't grow up being like, oh man, I want to make underwater cameras. That wasn't like the dream of like, 9-year-old Adam, but but I love the process of solving those problems and challenges. And especially like with programming, like I just absolutely get so much just joy from it that like it really, I think that passion towards launching an idea. And again, not even necessarily the idea, but like something about it. You gotta like really love it and be passionate about it and be willing to work on it and move it forward, and it not be this like burden. You know, I feel like I'm 15 years in. It might be cliche to say whatever, but I like still love showing up to work every day. Like I love my job. You know what I mean? I love the people I'm working with.
Yeah.
It's like, I hope it's clearly evident. The sincerity, but like I truly am like just super passionate about what we're doing. Yes. But like the how we're doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
Is so much fun. And if you're like, if your idea is something to do with, you don't even like doing the work to like get it off the ground.
Yeah.
It's maybe a red flag. So just make sure you love it, because it is hard and it's a lot of ups and downs.
Yep.
And the statistics are not great.
Definitely not.
For making it successful. So at the end of the day, I think if you can look back and be like, well, I didn't make it, but it was awesome and I had fun. Then
exactly. That's a win.
You're
right
definitely
there.
further ahead in some regard.
Yeah, most definitely. And like you said, it's so important to enjoy it because you might be at it for the rest of your life.
There you go. Exactly.
Right. Okay, so a little rapid fire round. I got 6 questions here. So we'll jump right in. First one. So who came up with the name SubC Imaging?
Yeah, so SubC Imaging, that has its roots with Chad. In the beginning. We were originally SubC Control, because we were kind of in that like control system space.
Yep.
Early on, we had a camera, but we also developed some control systems for like different underwater applications and that sort of stuff.
Yep.
And we felt like as we were growing, we were totally finding our niche in that like imaging side of things.
Yeah.
So then we kind of made that transition from SubC Control, SubC Control into SubC Imaging. But again, I'm pretty sure it was Chad who was like, we should be imaging. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, sounds good.
Awesome. All right, next one. If you could create one wild invention for underwater exploration, what would it be?
Oh, boy. There's so much cool stuff underwater, and it's so vast. It's so big. How cool would it be to have like some just swarm of like, post fusion power, right? When we harness the power, the sun. Thank you, Dr. Octopus, and get it on the micro scale, and get just this like swarm of like robots that are just like constantly going through the ocean and just like, every now and then surfs in to like report all that data back and like, all that video and all that sort of stuff. Super impossible with today's technology, but if I'm growing up, you hear like, oh, we've only discovered 5% of the ocean, right?
Exactly.
How do we move that bar in a really significant way and see some really cool underwater stuff?
Yeah.
Swarm of robots. That would be a cool invention.
That would be a very cool invention. And I was literally thinking it while you were saying it, talking about the stat of, the unexplored ocean. So yeah, definitely. I'm fully behind you on that.
There you go.
Deep sea exploration or aquaculture monitoring?
Aquaculture monitoring is super cool, and something that's super important. We don't want like nets to degrade and have like all these fish go and like contaminate the oceans and all that sort of stuff. And I know that's like a big problem and stuff, and it's a problem relevant to Newfoundland, right? We're trying to solve those problems.
Yep.
But like deep sea exploration all the way.
Yeah.
Of course. You know what I mean?
Of course,
it's there's so many cool things, and like we've found a lot of them, but we haven't found them all. And like how many more coelacanths are out there, right? That's like, I don't know, coelacanths, living fossil. Like they thought they were dead. Oh yeah. So the coelacanths, we've got like fossils of, not we, but like humanity has fossils of coelacanths. They were thought extinct for, ever. Lived hundreds of millions of years ago. Don't fact check me on that. I'm not a scientist, but a long time ago.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, back like 100 years ago, they found them off, I think, the coast of Africa.
Wow.
They're still alive today. Like we've got like, records of them living a long time ago, but like they're a living fossil.
Wow.
How many more coelacanths are out there just waiting to be found? The megalodon, It might be there.
You never know. You never know.
Probably not, but we can hope.
Yeah. Well, Adam, that's a wrap for all the questions. I really appreciate you coming on the podcast.
Absolutely. Yeah, Ian, it was a blast. This is a ton of fun.
Perfect. Well, thanks again, Adam, for coming on. Really appreciate it. Thanks again for listening as well. So all our listeners, if you like today's episode, please leave a review wherever you listen to your podcast. And if you want to find out more about our podcast, you can find it out at www.cna.nl.ca/entrepreneurship. So thank you and have a great day. Innovation to disrupt. SubC Imaging's first product, the OneCam, challenges the industry's status quo by bridging the gap between standard and high-definition underwater video. Adam and Chad's early bet on a rapidly evolving tech landscape shows how smart innovation, even from a small town, can ripple across global industries. Friendship as a foundation. Adam and Chad's journey proved that meaningful relationships, when built on trust, shared values, and complementary skills, can fuel long-term business success. When building your team, focus on leveraging diverse strengths and fostering deep trust to create a resilient and effective partnership. A strong partnership can be the backbone of sustainable growth. From outport roots to global reach, Clarenville wasn't just a starting point. It became SubC's strategic choice. The team built a high-functioning global operation while staying deeply rooted in rural Newfoundland. Their story is a reminder that a place doesn't limit potential when your vision is expansive and your execution is world-class.